Now we have a big breaking news coming in. This is CNN News 18's mega exclusive. NIA sources have told CNN News 18 and NIA has confiscated Gurprat Singh Pannu's properties. The National Investigation Agency has confiscated the properties of designated individual terrorist DIT Gurpratwant Singh Pannu. The NIA had approached a special NIA court for the confiscation of immovable properties belonging to Pannu under Section 33 5th of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, which is UAPA 1967. Pannu is also accused in the case of RC dated 5/4/2020, facing charges under Sections 120B, 124A, 153A, 153B and 17, 18 and 19 of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act under 1967. The cases relates to the funding of terrorist activities in Punjab from abroad, creating disharmony among communities and radicalizing youth for terrorist activities. The said properties include agricultural land situated in village Khankot, Amritsar, and a share of house number 2033, Sector 15C, Chandigarh. There are several cases against Pannu, including charges of waging war against India and spreading terror activities. All other charges against him are documented in the system. Now, right now, this is the CNN News 18's mega exclusive. NIA sources have brought us information to CNN News 18 that NIA has confiscated Pannu's properties. The National Investigation Agency has confiscated the properties of designated individual terrorist Gurpratwant Singh Pannu. I have CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan joining me on the broadcast. Anand, what information are we actually gathering from the mega exclusive that we have just discovered?
Well, this is a big crackdown and a big step up now, because this is because Gurpratwant Pannu is an American citizen. Gurpratwant Pannu is an American citizen, and he has so far, been able to get away with a lot of it because the Indian authorities and the Indian agencies have gone easy on him because he's an American citizen. And somewhere what happens is that there was some. There are beliefs and there are reports which are subject to confirmation that he was somewhere being propped up by agencies like the CIA. But more importantly, he is an American citizen who's been doing all of this within the Five Eyes country. Some interesting observations that have been made by experts who've been watching the developments is that how is it that most of this entire K propaganda and the K goons have all happened largely within the Five Eyes nations. Now, these are experts like Tara Karta who are also pointing that this has been happening perhaps as a concerted strategy over the last 3 or 4 decades, especially with the proximity that that of Pakistan enjoyed with America in the past. So these geopolitical impacts have also resulted in such agencies being involved and also propping up elements like Pannu. But now it's not just about Canadian citizens, it's about Khalistani elements on American soil, and India has just released, the NIA just the other day released a list of people who were part of this entire K propaganda and who are wanted people on American soil. So the NIA, a day after listing that, has decided to go all out against these elements who are actually working for these kind of agents, these kind of entities like the K-goons. And more importantly, it is Gurpratwant Pannu who had actually challenged the Indo-Canadians and forcing them to get out. And there was no reaction from the Canadian authorities. So all these point out to perhaps a concerted hand-in-glove kind of a mechanism. Surprising that despite multiple dossiers given by India, even the US voices were asking India to cooperate with Canada on the murder of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, despite the fact that the Canadian authorities so far have not even filed an FIR or even named the murderers. They are just going based on intel-based sources. Now Gurpratwant Pannu is a person of interest. He's been designated a terrorist in 2020 as an individual terrorist along with Hardeep Singh Nijjar. More importantly, India is well within its rights to confiscate his properties or his attachments on Indian soil. And that's exactly what the NIA is now going to do, that any of these Khalistani entities, if they have got any links in India, any properties which are registered or linked to them, there will be a crackdown on them to try and tighten the noose and also to send across a message that enough is enough. None of this K propaganda is going to work anymore. In fact, despite a lot of noises being made in the US itself has to now answer questions as to why people who are acting against the interests of Bharat are finding safe havens in nations like Canada and the US for such a long time, and they've been given a free run. Why is it that the US is having variant positions vis-a-vis Bin Laden and Hardeep Nijjar, vis-a-vis, the kind of crackdown that they have meted out, and when they came out, and Ayman al-Zawahiri and Gurpatwant Pannu. So if an Ayman al-Zawahiri was a threat to US integrity and US sovereignty, and they could get in all the way in Kabul and claim that they have assassinated him and killed him and tell it to the whole world that they've done a good job, why is it that they are not cracking down on terrorists who are acting against the interests of other nations' sovereignty? So these are questions that will now be raised, but India is now very clear that they are not going to buckle down. They are not going to back up.
Well, definitely, Anand. I'll request you to please hold on because I have BJP's Manjinder Singh Sirsa joining me on the broadcast as well. Manjinder ji, thank you so much for talking to CNN News 18. I want to understand your stance as this is coming up as a big move by NIA against the Khalistani extremism that is being spread and is spreading its wing in Canadian soil as well.
See, no extremism will be spread, and there will be this has zero tolerance for this kind of people. He is the one man who has ruined our community also, because for reason for his acts and the emissions which he do, we are blamed throughout the world for that. I think that is the appropriate step the government has taken. His property should be confiscated and he should be booked. And government of India has been trying from last couple of years to convince the USA and also the Canadian government with the proof, and we have given the dossier also that how these people are involved in killing of innocent people here in India. So I think that is the right move taken by the government of India and NIA.
Well, Manjinder ji, I want to understand from you US's stance on that as well. CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan was just in a conversation with me. He also mentioned that, US is not very clear with its stance, why they can go against Bin Laden, but we cannot go against Hardeep Singh Nijjar. What is that double standard?
These are all policies which are decided by the government of India. I would not comment on this issue. Reason being, it's a two countries issue, and Ministry of External Affairs will be the right to answer this kind of a question. So I do not want to get into it. But yes, anybody who is involved in any kind of act of violence should be taken on with a strong hand, with the iron fist. But I do not know for what reason USA or Canada has not taken this kind of a step, which otherwise they have taken in other cases.
Well, definitely. Manjinder ji, one more question. I want to ask you, how would you respond to Justin Trudeau's claims against Indian government agents being involved in Hardeep Singh Nijjar's killing? Because he is being very ironic here. He has been talking about Jammu and Kashmir issue. He has been talking about farmers' protest here in India as well. But is asking no foreign intervention in on the matters that are questioning India's sovereignty and challenging India's beliefs.
So first of all, his all claims are still not based on any evidence. He says that he do not have kind of evidence. He says that I presume that India is involved in this kind of act. First of all, he should, by being a prime minister, should come with a clean hands and with a clean evidence that this is the evidence, and should put down on a paper that this is the evidence I want to show that how this India is involved. First of all, second thing. See, when it comes to our country, they have a different stand. When it comes to their own country, they have a different stand. We talk about Quebec. The people of Quebec want a separate country there. They do not want to live in Canada. But did the government of India ever intervene it? No. Did we ever did a protest outside the Canadian embassy? No. Had we ever torn their flag? No. Have we put our flag on a fire? No. But when it comes to Indian, they say that it's a matter of speech, and everybody got a right to do that. That is not the question. The thing is that this is all done for the sake of politics, and this act will ruin their country also. The one day the Canadians will feel how Pakistan has been ruined, how Afghanistan is ruined, and Canada is also walking on the same track now.
Well, definitely. Manjinder Singh Sirsa, thank you so much for talking to CNN News 18.